office chair. All the jostling around doorways and furniture, all the hustling down the crowded sidewalk, it would be a vast and endless choreography, a dance of one multiplied by millions if you could see us all from above. How we meet the built environment depends on both bodies and worlds. There's no custom-fit solution arriving for any of us, but if you could zero in on that moment of body meets stuff, flesh up against metal or concrete or plastics, if you could slow down the tape right at the instant of connection, you'd see it packed with information. And no one understands this more than Amanda, who came to my suburban college campus outside Boston on a frigid day in January. She was one of the first guests invited to collaborate with a cohort of 24 engineering students who'd signed up for my class in design that semester. Amanda is an art historian and a curator of contemporary art. She is Australian by birth and still speaks in the lilt of her native accent, even as a longtime transplant to Southern California. She has a comfortably professorial air, at ease in the front of the room in the geometric clothing that's favored by the gallery set, and she's also a little person. Amanda has a form of dwarfism, so her stature, at just over 4 feet tall, is shaped outside the standard range of average heights for humans. Her entrance to an unremarkable college classroom is a whole curriculum unto itself, because her presence has a way of casting the surrounding environment into stark relief, making some of us pause and really see it, as if for the first time. The dimensions of the space, the heights of the light switches and various media outlets, the sizes of our tables and chairs. Amanda arrived, laptop in tow, and walked my students through a visual overview of her work as a curator, pointing to slides as she talked about all the ways she works with artists and museums to bring an exhibition to life. She told us, for example, how she'd installed one contemporary photography show at a lower wall height than standard, making it more accessible to little people, but also to wheelchair users and to children. She invited the students many questions about how she presents her work, but also about her daily life and her experience of her body in the world, because she wasn't just a guest lecturer. Amanda was with us because she had an idea, a proposal for all of us to take up as a project. She, together with me and my eager young engineering students. She had come to ask us to design and build with her a piece of furniture, a tool that would address some of the specific features and requirements of her profession and her body. A lectern for giving talks and for welcoming audiences to her museum shows. A lectern, it has to be said, is so often just the architecture for a lot of hot air. That tap-tapping on the microphone that careens into feedback before settling in for the drone of voices warming to their themes and standing between you and lunch. It plays such a sturdy supporting role in so many formalized rituals, commencements, sales pitches, seminars, sermons, that at a glance, it hardly seems worth remarking on. Think how many lecterns there are just standing around in anticipation in the world's many hotel conference rooms and auditoriums. Generic models covered in wood veneer and all more or less alike, a nondescript part of the background. Except, a lectern is also a blunt announcement, carried in the shape of an object, about who's expected to be standing behind it. A lectern assumes a world where everything is created for people whose stature ranges from just over 5 feet and up. Amanda wanted a lectern at her scale. She wanted to be able to do the speaking her job entailed without a device that required her to enact the repeated awkwardness of bringing her body to the dimensions of a room at odds with her physicality, usually some structure behind an ordinary lectern. Typically, it would be some kind of little pedestal or something, right? She told us. It was an accommodation she'd made do with for much of her life, but she didn't want to do that anymore. She wanted a more flexible design. To present her master's thesis in graduate school, she'd commissioned a wooden model on wheels. It was gratifying for that event, but it was heavy, not really portable. She'd come to our class for a new version entirely, a lectern that had to do more than stand at the correct height. She wanted to take it with her.